Chapter 29. Expressions of Love for Krishna. Part 3. Intense emotion. Emotion is caused by something very dear, by something very detestable, by fire, strong wind, strong rainfall, by some natural disturbance, the sight of a big elephant, or the sight of an enemy. When there is emotion caused by seeing something very dear, one can speak very swiftly and use kind words. When there is emotion caused by seeing something detestable, one cries very loudly. When there is emotion caused by seeing fire, one tries to fly away. There may also be trembling of the body, closing of the eyes, and tears in the eyes. When one becomes emotional on account of a strong wind, one tries to run very swiftly and rubs his eyes. When one is emotional because of rainfall, one takes an umbrella and there is tension in his body. When there is emotion due to a sudden disturbance, one's face becomes discolored, one becomes struck with wonder, and there is trembling of the body. If there is emotion from seeing an elephant, one may jump, show various signs of fearfulness, and sometimes one may keep looking behind him. When there is emotion due to the presence of an enemy, one looks for a fatal weapon and tries to escape. When Krishna returned from the forest of Vṛndāvana, Mother Yasoda was so emotional from seeing her son that milk began to flow from her breast. This is an instance of emotion caused by seeing a dear object. In the 10th Canto, 23rd chapter, 13th verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Sukadeva Goswami informs King Parikshit, quote, "My dear king, the wives of the Brahmins were usually very much attached to the glorification of Krishna, and they were always anxious to get an opportunity to see him. Because of this, when they heard that Krishna was nearby, they became very anxious to see him and immediately left their homes." End quote. This is an instance of emotional activity caused by the presence of someone who is very dear. When Putana, the demonic witch, was struck down and killed by Krishna, Mother Yasoda was struck with wonder and began to cry emotionally, quote, "Oh, what is this? What is this?" End quote. When she saw that her dear baby Krishna was playing on the chest of the dead demonic woman, Mother Yasoda, at a loss what to do, began to walk this way and that. This is an instance of being emotional on account of seeing something ghastly. When Krishna uprooted the two Arjuna trees, and Yasoda heard the sound of the trees crashing down, she became overcome with emotion and simply stared upwards, being too bewildered to know what else to do. This is an instance of being emotional from hearing a tumultuous sound. When there was a forest fire in Vṛndāvana, all the cowherd men assembled together and desperately appealed to Krishna for protection. This is an instance of emotion caused by fire. The whirlwind demon known as Trinavarta once carried Krishna off from the ground and blew him around, along with some very big trees. At that time, Mother Yasoda could not see her son, and she was so disturbed that she began to walk this way and that. This is an instance of emotion caused by severe wind. In the 10th Canto, 25th chapter, 11th verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, there is a description of Indras causing severe torrents of rain at Vṛndāvana. All the cows and cowherd boys became so afflicted by the wind and cold that they all gathered together to take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. This is an instance of emotion caused by severe rainfall. There were severe torrents of hail when Krishna was staying in the forest of Vṛndāvana, and the elderly persons bade him, quote, "Krishna, Don't you move now. Even persons who are stronger and older than you cannot move, and you are just a little boy, so please stay still." End quote. This is an instance of emotion caused by heavy hailing. When Krishna was chastising Kaliya in the poisonous water of the Yamuna, Mother Yasoda began to speak emotionally. Quote, "Oh, see how the earth appears to be trembling. There appears to be an earth tremor, and in the sky tears are flying here and there. My dear son has entered into the poisonous water of the Yamuna. What shall I do now?" End quote. This is an instance of emotion resulting from a natural disturbance. In the arena of Kamsa, when Krishna was attacked by big elephants, all of the ladies present began to address him in this way. Quote, "My dear boy, please leave this place immediately. Don't you see the big elephants coming to attack you? Your innocent gazing upon them is causing us too much perturbation." End quote. Krishna then told Mother Yasoda, quote, "My dear mother, don't be perturbed by the appearance of the elephants and the horses that are so forcefully coming and raising dust, causing blindness to these lotus-eyed women. Let even the Keshi demon come before me. My arms will still be adequate for victory. So please don't be perturbed." End quote. In the Lalita Madhava, a friend tells Mother Yasoda, quote, "How wonderful it is that when the Sankachuta demon, vast and strong as a great hill, attacked your Cupid-like beautiful son, there was no one present in Vṛndāvana to help, and yet the demon was killed by your little son. It appears to be due to the result of severe penances and austerities in your past lives that your son was saved in this way." End quote. In the same Lalita Madhava, there is an account of Krishna's kidnapping Rukmini at her royal marriage ceremony. At that time, all of the princes present began to converge among themselves, saying, quote, "We have our elephants, horses, chariots, bows, arrows, swords. So why should we be afraid of Krishna? Let us attack him. He's nothing but a lusty cowherd boy. He cannot take away the princess in this way. Let us all attack him." End quote. This is an instance of emotion caused by the presence of enemies. Srila Rupa Goswami is trying to prove by the above examples that in relationship with Krishna, there is no question of impersonalism. All personal activities are there in relationship with Krishna. Madness. Srila Bilva Mangal Thakur prays in his book as follows, quote, "Let Srimati Radharani purify the whole world, because she has surrendered herself completely unto Krishna. Out of her ecstatic love for him, she sometimes acted like an addled person and attempted to churn curd, even though there was no curd in the pot. And seeing this, Krishna became so enchanted by Radharani that he began to milk a bull instead of a cow." End quote. These are some of the instances of insanity or madness in connection with the love affairs of Radha and Krishna. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is said that when Krishna entered the poisonous waters of the Yamuna, Srimati Yasoda Devi went insane. Instead of searching for curative herbs, she began to speak to the trees as if they were snake chanters. With folded hands, she began to bow down to the trees, asking them, quote, "What is the medicinal herb which can check Krishna's dying from this poisonous water?" End quote. This is an instance of insanity caused by some great danger. How a devotee can be in a state of insanity because of ecstatic love is described in the 10th Canto, 30th chapter, 4th verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, where the gopīs were searching for Krishna in the forests of Vṛndāvana. The gopīs were loudly singing the glories of Krishna and wandering from one forest to another in search of him. They knew that Krishna is not localized but all-pervading. He is in the sky, he is in the water, he is in the air. He is the supersoul in everyone's heart. Thus the gopīs began to inquire from all kinds of trees and plants about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is an instance of ecstatic madness on the part of devotees. Similarly, there are symptoms of diseases caused by ecstatic love. This condition is credited by learned scholars as Mahabhav. This highly elevated condition is also called Divyanmad, or transcendental madness. Forgetfulness. When Krishna was absent from Vṛndāvana and was staying in Mathura, Srimati Radharani sent news to him that his mother, the Queen of Braj, was feeling such separation from him that there was foam coming from her mouth, like the foam on the shore of the ocean. And sometimes she was raising her arms like the waves of the ocean, and because of her intense feelings of separation, she was rolling on the ground and creating a tumultuous roaring sound. And sometimes she was remaining completely silent like a calm sea. These symptoms of separation from Krishna are called apasmar, or forgetfulness. One completely forgets his position when he manifests these symptoms in ecstatic love. Another message was once sent to Krishna informing him that after he had killed Kamsa, one of Kamsa's demon friends had gone insane. This demon was foaming at the mouth, waving his arms, and rolling on the ground. This demonic demonstration is in relationship with Krishna in ghastly humor. This mellow or flavor is one of the indirect relationships with Krishna. The first 5 kinds of relationships are called direct, and the other 7 are called indirect. Some way or other, the demon must have had some relationship with Krishna, because these symptoms developed when he heard that Krishna had already killed Kamsa. Srila Rupa Goswami remarks that there is also transcendental excellence in this kind of symptom. Disease. When Krishna was absent from Vṛndāvana and was staying at Mathura, some of his friends informed him, quote, "My dear Krishna, because of their separation from you, the inhabitants of Braj are so afflicted they appear to be diseased. Their bodies are feverish, and they cannot move properly. They're simply lying on the ground and breathing heavily." End quote. In the 10th Canto, 12th chapter, 41st verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Maharaj Parikshit asked about Lord Ananta, and upon hearing this question, Sukadeva Goswami began to show symptoms of collapsing. Yet he checked himself and answered King Parikshit's question in a mild voice. This collapsing condition is described as a feverish state resulting from ecstatic pleasure. There is another statement in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam telling of the damsels of Vraj meeting Krishna at the sacred place of Kurukshetra many years after their childhood pastimes. When they met in that sacred place, all the gopis became stunned by the occurrence of a solar eclipse. Their breathing, blinking of the eyes, and all similar activities stopped, and they stood before Krishna just like statues. This is another instance of a diseased condition resulting from exuberant transcendental pleasure.